You had no right to touch me. When I was a child, I grew up in an Italian family. And if you know Italian families, it's like heaven and hell, uh, extremes, right? And one of the things my grandfather would do for fun is he would grab me by the penis and then make me whistle, kind of like uncle. The only problem is no one taught me how to whistle. So I would sit there and go, and he would laugh louder because he thought it was funny. But I laughed it off as a kid because he did that to everybody and that was his thing. Problem is, later in life, when I started this work and I was in Peru, one of the things that you'll hear a really profound shaman do is we'll start whistling and then we'll start humming and then we'll call in the song, the Ikiro, to sing to our passengers. Well, I still couldn't whistle. And I noticed each time I tried, I was getting angrier and angrier and pissed until I realized, wow, something's off here. Why is so much coming up for me over whistling? I suck at whistling, not a big deal, but I need to practice whistling. Well, believe it or not, in one of my marketing sessions with my gentleman, and he's one of the most intuitive guys ever, he said, look, if for 20 years I've been working with men and women, and most of what I've seen is physical, emotional, and sexual trauma. And he says, can you just come right out and say that you have mastered working with this? I said, yeah, but all but the sexual, the things that they've been through, I haven't. He says, are you sure? And then I remembered my grandfather grabbing me by the penis. And I laughed it off, so I never knew that it really bothered me. And when that anger came up, that fear came up, I was like, if he were alive, I would need to confront him and let him know the damage that it caused. That his, whatever way he thought he was connecting or dominating or controlling or what felt like and was like shame. It's not okay to touch another human without consent. And so I had to heal all that anger to begin practicing whistling and singing so that I could take care of my passengers. I want to impress upon you that informed consent is always the path of the soul, and that I had every right to be angry and upset and pissed because I didn't have a choice. The choice I had was to laugh because everyone else was laughing and it was what he did. So in that regards, I lost my voice. And here it is, 40 years later, now it's showing up. And that's what happens when we live in shame. When you live in shame, it will continue to manifest in various ways. And you may not make the connection. And that's why the shaman and the medicine is so important, because your human mind will never connect the dots to help you heal. It'll just connect the dots enough to keep you from experiencing the pain again. But pain's the ultimate teacher. Now, let me give you the full circle view on this. I wouldn't change a fucking thing about what happened. Because as wrong as it was and hurtful as it was, it drove me towards healing. I allowed that to drive me to loving myself again, to being vulnerable with myself again, to allow myself to be able to sing, to reclaim my voice that was lost again, to be able to look in the mirror at my body part and smile and have a beautiful perspective of my body again. That is a transformation. That is a healing when we can take our shame and reclaim our power. And now we're seeing and feeling and experiencing ourselves in a more whole and pure way after people have damaged us. Remember, it's always about informed consent. You have a choice. You have a voice. And until you give somebody permission to engage in your space or your body, the answer is no. And you don't need a reason or justification or even feel guilty about it. The answer is no. And you get to hold that ground to protect yourself as you begin to learn how to heal and work through the shame, because all shame leads to reclaiming yourself as you were made. So today I say to my grandfather in heaven, thank you for the painful gift because it made me 10 times better human 40 years later.